Before watching this video, please go ahead and watch my video titled Method 1, How to Take Measurement on a Real Body for Drafting a Basic Bodice. That video will give you a better understanding of how the measurements used in this video are achieved. I will leave the link down below in the description box. Hello guys, in today's video I will show how to draft a basic bodice waist length. In my previous video I showed the different basic bodice block with different dart placement using the draping technique that involves using a dress form to create the basic bodice. However, the drafting method is different. The drafting method has a lot to do with taking body measurements and doing some mathematical calculation and using those measurements and calculation to draw the basic bodice on a paper. So let's get into the tutorial. As I do my drafting, I'll be showing the corresponding body measurements and calculations. Starting with the center front, on a paper, draw a 1-inch center front line on the vertical edge of the paper and a 1-inch line on the horizontal edge of the paper. Those two lines will be your starting point. Starting at the intersection of the two lines, mark the center front full length. The center front full length is taken from the neck at shoulder over the bust to the waist. Disclaimer: if you notice that my body measurement doesn't correspond with my markings, that's because I'm using my old body measurement as I've lost some weight, but the drafting concept is still the same. From that point, mark square out a line that is equal to 1/4 of the waist measurement, then square out or add a 1/4 inch. Because as human, we measure more from side seam to side seam at the front waist than side seam to side seam at the back waist. Then from that quarter mark, add 1 1/2 inches for dart. Using my measurement, I squared out 7 1/4, then squared out 1/4. Then from that quarter point, I squared out 1 1/2 for dart. Starting at the waist, measure the length of your bust depth and mark. My bust depth is 7 1/2, so I mark 7 1/2 on the center front line. From that point, mark square out a line that is equal to 1/4 of the bust measurement, then square out 1/4 of an inch. Using my measurement, I squared out 10 inches, which is 1/4 of my bust measurement, then squared out 1/4 of an inch from that 10-inch point mark. The same analogy applies that we measure more from side seam to side seam at the front bust than side seam to side seam at the back. Then connect the waist point and bust point with a straight line. From the top horizontal line, mark half across shoulder, then square in or subtract a 1/4 inch because the across shoulder measures less by a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch at the front. Using my measurement, I marked half of my across shoulder, which is 7 1/2, then squared in a 1/4 inch. From that point mark, I drew a line that is the length of my shoulder slope. Using my measurement as an example, I drew a line that is 1 1/2 inch long. From the end of the shoulder slope point, I drew a line that is the length of the shoulder seam by pivoting my ruler until it touches the top line. Using my measurement as an example, I measured out 4 1/2 inch to the top line. To create the neck curve, I measured up from the waist on the center front line the center front length, then squared out 1/2 inch before drawing the neck curve. The reason for the 1/2 inch is so that there could be a smooth transition between the center front and center back neck curve when cutting out the pattern on a fabric or when sewing the center front and center back together. From the top line, measure 5 inches down, which is the across chest measurement on the center front sloper. This measurement is standard and the same for the center back, but is referred to as across back measurement on the center back sloper. Then square out a line that is equal to half of across shoulder measurement, which was 7.5 inches. Then from that point, come in 3.75 inches in. Then connect all the 3 end points with a curved ruler: your shoulder slope, your across chest point, and your bust point. To draw my dart, I divided my bust pen by 2, and which gives me 4 inches. I marked 4 inches on my bust line and waistline and connected the point with a straight line. Then I came down 1 inch from the bust point, because when sewing a dart, you never start at the bust point. Then I divided my dart by 2 inches, my 1.5 dart by 2 inches to get my dart leg, then connected the dart legs to the 1 inch point mark. Finally, to finish up, I extended the middle of my dart leg by a 1/4 inch, then used my curved ruler to connect it back to the waistline. Some people leave the waistline as a straight line, but I prefer to curve my waistline because we're never straight at the waist but a little bit curved. If I have made drafting a basic bodice a little bit easier to understand and help further your fashion designing experience, please give this video a thumbs up. Until my next video, where I'll be demonstrating how to draft a back basic bodice, bye everyone and stay well.